Hello, everyone. This is Jimmy Cultist back again with another logic tutorial. And this is turn-based combat, that's the template we're working with. But frankly, it doesn't even really have to be turn-based combat. This principle kind of universally applies to everything. But we're talking about elemental damage. And how to make, elemental damage do more damage than normal damage. So the first thing we're going to need is a way to apply an element. So I'm going to make a little chip called elements. Kind of sounds like someone's name, elements. But anyway, I've already taken the liberty of scoping into this fellow's sword with L1 and X, and I've grouped all these fires, which are just simple paint flecks. And I'm going to now double-click and select them all, and with L1 and square, I will open their tweak menu, and I'm going to set their endpoint to 0, that way we can affect the visuals of our fire. Now this is just something I'm going to leave on. I'm just going to set the fire to on and have it on. But if you want to turn off the fire, an easy way is just to, turn off the keyframe. We're going to call this fire vis, as in visual. And we're going to have a wireless transmitter. And we're going to call it fire. Apply. And basically what this is going to do is just, apply our fire. We will need a switch to, make it send out the signal. Just set down the switch and attach it to this signal to receiver. And we're going to go into our attack and add the moderation to it that will make it, do the thing. Here it is. So this is basically all we're going to need. We're going to need a wireless receiver, not a transmitter like we had before. And it's going to detect a transmitter called apply fire. Make sure that these match up. I think this one is just called fire apply. We'll call it apply fire. That sounds better. But make sure that they're spelt properly and everything. And we won't have to move this zone since it's pretty much going to match the player all the time and not going to move, so. And we'll call this fire element. And we'll make it red so it stands out. We'll turn the power off, like so. And turn it on with keyframe mode. All you have to do is select, when you stamp out the action recorder, just select keyframe mode and press X on the power and it will be on. And we'll label this on. That way when this chip is turned off, we'll no longer have the fire effect visual or anything else. So, how do we make it apply more damage? Well, it's quite simple. We are going to need a trigger zone, attach it here, and we're going to call it fire. Maybe we should call it friend fire, because this is going to be yours. If we ever want to do enemy fire elements, we'll have to use a separate one. And we'll set this to in scene. And basically all it's going to do is, you know, apply the fiery effect to anything we're fighting. I'm going to go over here to the character, the enemy that is. And we're going to set up a chip, which, you know, this is probably going to happen eventually anyway. And we're going to call this status effects. And all this is going to do is apply our fire status. I might turn this fellow on just so we can get an idea of what we're working with here. Oh. Just turn this on briefly. Put it down the corner. We're stamping out a node. And we have a tag. We're going to call this friend fire. Let's make sure it's the same as the one we had earlier. Yep, that's correct. And all this is going to do is add power. Once this is affected, basically, once this zone detects this, which, by the way, make sure it's set to tag. But this zone, when it detects this tag, will cause this output to go into the node and activate our action recorder. And what's our action recorder going to do? We're going to go into the health manager, and we are going to increase our damage percentage from 100% to 200%. Double what it normally would be. Set this to loop. Maybe make it red. But that's going to be our fire damage, and you could set it to be different for each character, or you could set it to be 0 if this character is fire resistant. You know, like make it so he takes no fire damage whatsoever. Or no damage when you're attacking him with a fiery weapon. So just, you know, set the damage percentage to 0 in that case. But let's go ahead and give this a try. Now this will cause problems with our little dealy bob. This thing, the damage displayer. We're going to have to do double, so we might want to put this in here to add 50. Of course, if we add it in here, that might be a bit of a problem. Just a sec. Maybe we can alter this. Yeah, we'll alter it using a keyframe or an action recorder, I should say. But that will just alter the value of our damage, you know. Now, let's see. Is this the slash? Alright. Let's go ahead and get in a combat encounter. Oh. I had forgotten. Turn this fellow off. Turn this off. Or do we want it on? I think we do want it on. But I'm just doing that for testing purposes. If you're doing this, you won't even need to... Now what's going wrong here? something doesn't seem to be emitting right. Alright, now let's try it. But that probably won't happen in your version if you're not messing around with those fellows. But we'll attack this enemy since he's rigged up to take double fire damage. Attack. Slash. So he'll take 50 damage. And there you go. That's how to do elemental attacks. At least this kind. Now you could even add, you know, if you want to do freeze damage or something like that, you could make it so the enemy is immobilized for a turn. But that's a different process, so I won't be talking about that for today, but I was just talking about the basics of how to double damage with a certain element. Like, say if you hit him with frost, it does double damage. Hit him with fire, it does double damage. And that's pretty much it. Hope you find that helpful in whatever endeavors you may be active in. I also should mention that you can turn this off if you want to get rid of the effect. Let's go ahead and try it without, just to demonstrate. And if you've got the power turned off on that one chip, it should all be working correctly. Alright, we're going to do 25 damage. There we go. Works correctly. Thanks for watching. If you have any thoughts, leave a comment, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. If you would like to support us financially, consider clicking the join button to become a member and unlock perks. You can also leave a super thanks in the comments, which we would appreciate. That's all for now. Goodbye.